If you're anything like me, you want to be a millionaire. And if you're also anything like me, you had absolutely no idea how you're gonna do that. I mean, and who can really blame you? How do you build a net worth so prestigious? $1 million? That's crazy. How does anyone do it? No one tells you. How? So I decided at 19 I was going to be a millionaire, and that was my purpose in life, was to build wealth. I know it's a little shallow, but hey, bear with me. People progress. I was 19 years old, that's all I wanted to do. And I decided I'm going to learn how to be a millionaire. But I felt like I needed to get like some sign from God or something. Like there was no way in hell that me, a dishwasher slash server, would ever be able to make $1 million. In order to make $1 million, you gotta create like an app that goes viral like Flappy Bird. Or you gotta make a platform like Facebook that like revolutionizes the world. That's the only way to make money, right? At least that's what I thought. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I was dead wrong. And I learned that anyone on this planet can become a millionaire. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you can reach $1 million net worth or $1 million cash in the bank, and it's 100% possible. I'm telling you, it's real. So let's find out what I learned. And look, my journey, like many people's, started with books. I started to read books, and one of the books that I read was The Millionaire Next Door. This is a great read, and if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. I'll link it below. This book changed my life. It changed my perspective on everything. What this book really showed me is that what we think of when we think of millionaires is complete bullshit. Just because someone's pinching pennies does not necessarily mean that they're struggling financially. In fact, that usually means the opposite. Someone who's very conscientious about what they spend their money on, usually that's a good indicator they probably have a nice nest egg of money. Rich people don't like to spend money. So the first lesson, something that I kind of just touched on earlier, is income does not equal wealth. You can make $1 million a year, but if you spend $1,001 a year, you're still going to be in financial ruin. Some lottery winners make like $100 million from the lottery, and then in a few years, they're completely broke, worse off than they were before, because income does not equal wealth. What equals wealth, and what the book really tries to get across, is how much you save and invest. If you make a ton of money, but you put that money in depreciating assets like a car, like nice clothes, so you start buying things that won't bring you any money back, then you're just wasting your money throwing it down the toilet. But if you make a lot of money and then you put that money in things that's gonna bring you a return on that money, now you're looking at something that's gonna really, really help you move along in life. A common thing that you've probably heard a lot is invest your money and only spend the interest. Don't spend the principal, because if you never touch the principal, you will never ever have to struggle financially. If you invest $1 million and you only spend what that $1 million makes you, you're going to be in a nice spot. But if you touch the $1 million, then it's going to bring you less money. The whole point is that you want to put your money to work for you, right? It's a very, very, very simple idea in theory. If you want to dive into that concept more, I definitely recommend, of course, The Millionaire Next Door, but I would definitely look into The Richest Man in Babylon. That is also a really interesting book that I can also dive into, because once I read that book, I realized you can work 24 hours a day and you still will not work as hard as your money will work for you. So you need to put that money to work. You need to be a strict boss, because money is meant to be your slave. On average, millionaires invest 20% of their income, right? 20% of your income is really good, but if you look at the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early movement, some of these people invest 80 to 90% of their income so they can get out of the rat race. And so they can do what they want with their time and work if they want to, and if they don't want to work, they don't need to. So I think that is the goal. The goal isn't just to have a bunch of money and do nothing with. The goal is to buy freedom for yourself. Get yourself out of the rat race. If you want to work, of course you still can. No one's stopping you from working, and I think working is amazing, especially if you enjoy your job. But that's what we should all be striving for, is financial independence. Not having to rely on the government or having to rely on your boss to make it through the day, but knowing that you got it yourself. So lesson number 1, income does not equal wealth, and don't get it twisted. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I'll let you get back to the video. Lesson number 2, work that budget. Speaking from personal experience, as soon as I built a budget and started to follow that budget, I began to save way more money than I even thought I was making. Because if you aren't conscientious about what you're spending, where your money's going, you will never ever be able to control how much you invest and how much you save. It's as simple as that. Work that budget. The first order of business around that budget is to build it out around how much you want to save. Do you want to save 30% of your income? Well, then you need to build a lifestyle that allows you to save 30% of your income. I don't care if you're making $2,000 a month, $8,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $1,000 a month. You need to build a lifestyle around how much you want to save. That's really, really important. If you're making $1,000 a month and you want to save 30% of your income, so you want to save $300 of that, well, what can you do to bring your expenses down to $700 a month? Can you move in with roommates? I tried the whole roommate situation. It went to complete shit. And if you're really struggling, sometimes you have to just eat shit. Think about ways you can increase your income, right? I know no one wants to get a second job, but that second job, especially while you're young, can push you to that next level. If you can take your income from $1,000 a month, you get a second job, and now you're making $2,000 a month, well, saving 30% just became realistic, especially if you keep your expenses at what they were when you were only making $1,000 a month. I'm telling you, work that budget. It's super important, and really the most important thing on that budget isn't the expenses, it's about how much you want to save. Lesson 2, work that budget. Lesson number 3 ties directly to number 2, know where your money goes. You need to know where your money is going. If you look every single month and you feel like you have nothing left over, well, that means you're not tracking your expenses, right? You can have a budget in place, but if you're not implementing that budget and doing your due diligence and tracking where that money's going, it's really convenient now. It's really convenient. Like back in the day, my guy, they had pen and paper, they had pads, they had like legal pads where they would write bullet point lists. Oh, I spent this, and this month. I spent this and this month. We don't gotta do that. It's 2020, and I use a software called Mint, really amazing budgeting software. And stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a budgeting video in the near future because I think it is one of the most important components to building wealth, especially if you don't have much income. The budget will be life-saving for you, and it is absolutely necessary if you want to become a millionaire. Lesson number 4, know where you want your money to go. So this is having a goal in mind for where you want to invest your money. Part of this is kind of like a positive affirmation, right? I want to invest in real estate. I want to buy a rental property next year. I want to put $1,000 in the stock market, and I want to buy some Amazon stock, right? You got to be really conscientious about where you want to invest your money. And of course, this comes along with you need to do the proper education. You need to teach yourself, okay, what are some good places to invest my money? Should I invest in bonds? Should I put my money into gold? Should I put my money into real estate? Should I put my money in the stock market? Like, if you're putting your money into the stock market, I would definitely recommend a broad index fund, something that tracks like the S&P 500, because it just diversifies your money. And on average, the return has been 8%, right? On average, this beats out most of the best hedge fund managers out there. You definitely need to think, what vehicles can I put my money into that's going to grow my money, right? Of course, over the long term, that's how anyone making any sort of money at all can become a millionaire. So the compound interest equation, I'll put it on the screen now. That's pretty much the interest rate plus 1 to the number of periods times the principal. You take $5,000, right? At 20 years old, you invest $5,000 to a broad index fund, and let's say on average it returns 8% per year. That's 0.08. You plus that by 1, and then you take that to the right, I'm doing this math real time for you right now, so bear with me. Let's say you invest when you're 20 years old and you don't want to touch that money till you're 70, right? 20, 70, that's 50 years right there. So, and let's say it compounds just every year. Every year it'll compound at 8%. You take 1.8 to the 50th power, you times that to $5,000. You only invested $5,000. Keep this in mind. You put $5,000, didn't invest anything else into the fund at all, which is really unrealistic and not what you should do, but let's just say that's all you did. So with just investing $5,000, and that's it, my guy, that's it. You can get $234,508. Look at that number. Come into focus. Are you serious? The power of compound interest. That's how millionaires are made. That's how anyone can become a millionaire. I'm telling you this right now. So you need to start thinking, what investments that I'm gonna put my money into? I'm telling you, I'm getting really excited about this. And the fact that most of you will just listen to this and not put your money in there really makes me sad. Because This is something that you should start right now, and think about if every single year you're putting $5,000 into this fund every single year, and also think about if instead of compounding yearly, it compounds every single quarter. Now you're looking at millions of dollars, my guy. Millions of dollars. If you want to see a video where I break down, I run you through the equations and really just break it down for you, I mean, leave a comment, like, I can do that for you. But what really matters is that you get started with this, and that is one of the key lessons to this book. I'm so hyped. This excites me so much, my guy. So that's lesson number 4. Know where you want your dough to go, my guy. Know where you want your dough to go so one day you can reach the hose. Lesson number 5. Time is money. Time is money. All right, you've heard this all before, but in the context of this book, how much time are you spending with your budget? How much time are you spending tracking your expenses? How much time are you spending thinking about your investments? How much time are you devoting to your financial well-being? That will make or break this. If you only spend an hour a year thinking about your finances, analyzing investments, looking at stocks, trying to buy real estate, you ain't gonna go anywhere. You have to devote time and energy to this, because look, if it was easy to be a millionaire, everyone would be a millionaire. But if you follow the steps, my guy, it's simple. It's simple. Don't freak out when the stock market drops, because look, every single time people lose money in the stock market is because they sold. And that's lesson number 5. Spend time working on your budget, working on your investments. Spend time thinking about those things. It's really simple, because in theory, everything is simple. But when you actually sit down to analyze the numbers, that's when it starts to get complicated, right? Lesson number 6. And I love this one so much. Love the home you're in. Where you live will directly correlate with how much money you spend. Not just because the mortgage is more expensive, but because of the Joneses. And by now you're probably familiar with the concept of the Joneses, right? The neighbor next door that you have to keep up with, right? The Joneses really just represent people's desire to keep up with the people around them, to fit in. If everyone in your neighborhood is driving like a 2020 BMW, you're not going to feel comfortable showing up with a 2008 Honda Accord. Keeping up with the Joneses will keep you poor. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. If you make $1 billion, but you spend $1.2 billion, you're broke, you're ruined, you have nothing. And in the book, we learned that a lot of the people that we wouldn't necessarily look at as millionaires, like the janitor who owns a whole janitorial business, right? He doesn't need to spend $100,000 on a car. He doesn't need to spend $50,000 on a suit. He doesn't need to spend $12,000 on a Rolex. And so he doesn't need to spend nearly as much money as someone who works in like sales, or someone who works in finance, or someone who works in Wall Street, or someone who works in LA. They don't need to spend as much money to keep up appearances. And keeping up appearances can leave you broke. So to kind of tie this back to this specific lesson, if your neighbor buys a brand new BMW or a brand new Lamborghini and you have a Honda Accord, you're not going to fit in with the community. You're going to feel shunned, and you're going to feel pressure to upgrade. You're going to feel social pressure. Then lesson number 7. Love your wife, love your husband, and stay faithful and stay loyal. Studies have shown married couples build more income, build more wealth than those who divorce or those who remain single. You can have 2 incomes coming in, and also you have 2 people tracking the income and trying to invest. And in the book, it was really interesting. We learned that wives are typically the ones who are really, really frugal. On average, it's the wife who's tracking the budgets, making sure the husband doesn't spend too much, making sure the household doesn't spend too much money. So it's like, if you're a young guy, I would really, really suggest that you look for a serious, compatible partner who has the same financial goals as you and who wants to save money. You know, on the flip side of that, if you get married to someone who loves to spend things, who loves to live on the expensive side of life, then you might have a financial hole burning in your pocket for life. And of course, love knows no bounds. So if you love someone, go for it. I don't care. But it's really something to think about, that like married couples with the same financial goals tend to build more wealth. Lesson number 8, don't drive your wealth away. Cars are one of the biggest expenses, and trust me, this is speaking from experience. I've had to buy 2 cars in the past year. They're one of the biggest expenses outside of your home, especially when you look at some of these cars that are more than the down payment on some houses. Some of these cars can go for $60,000, $70,000. You look at the Lamborghini, you're looking at millions of dollars on a car. And it's these cars that will keep you poor. There obviously are some benefits to buying a new car. That sense of, this is mine, no one else has been in it, and the sense this is reliable and it's not gonna break down on me as soon as I leave the lot. Like buying, right now in 2020, buying a car that's 2015, 5 years. Those cars are still so nice, especially if you find one with low mileage. You probably will have very little headache. And the thing about buying a new car is as soon as you drive that new car off the lot, the resale value plummets. I've done a video on this, I'll link it up there, and so I won't spend too much time on it, but it's really, really important that you be conscientious about what you drive. Spending all your money on nice cars sounds great, but then at the end of the day, it might leave you in financial ruin, so just be really conscientious about that. What really matters with the car is, can it get you from point A to point B reliably? And if it can do that, then you're set. With that being said, I think we should move into the last and final lesson. Lesson number 9. The rich are happier. Of course, not every rich person's happier. There might be a void for some like trust fund kids, trust fund babies. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people who worked their ass off to build something for themselves and something for their families that they can look back on. There is something to be said about working your ass off to reach a point that you've dreamed about for your entire life, and that is financial independence, and that is financial security. Not having to worry about the next bill, or worrying about if you can make rent that month, or worrying how you're gonna put food on the table. Of course, that will make you happier. And also, if you're financially independent, you can control what you do with your time. If you want to work, you can do that. If you want to travel, you can do that. And that gives you time to explore yourself, explore the world, and really find happiness. That's what really matters. It's not about how much money you really have in your bank account. It's about how secure are you financially. And I think that's why everyone should be conscientious about their finances and want to grow their personal wealth. It's not so they can buy nice things. I mean, we've learned from this book that buying nice things does not equate to wealth, and of course it does not equate to happiness. What will make you truly happy when it comes to wealth is having the ability to provide for you and your family, and having the security of having financial freedom. And that right there is going to bring you a true sense of fulfillment, I believe anyway. Of course, I haven't felt that, and that's really, at the end of the day, all you can ask for. Sorry to bore you with that deep shit, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you really start focusing on your financial well-being, because it matters so much, and no one else is going to do it for you. You need to rely on yourself 100% when it comes to this. Yeah, I hope you liked this video. I love talking about this stuff, so leave comments down below if you enjoyed this video and what you want to see, and like this video if you want to see a budget video. And thank you to all the new subscribers. We've been growing like crazy. I swear, like last week I was at like 70 subscribers, and now I'm over 100. I love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting me. And if you don't know her, which is just like unbelievable, make sure to follow GGMW, my lovely girlfriend, who does have a taste for finer things, but she's gonna be my sugar mama, so it balances out. And also make sure you check out Vanessa Johansson. She's an amazing YouTuber. Love her TikToks, love her videos. Check her out. Make sure to give them some love. And make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Click that button and make sure to like this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. You won't even believe it. All the comments that you guys leave, even the bad ones, it's like, holy, I can't believe someone engaged with my content and felt moved enough to leave a reply. That means so much to me. And it's really important now more than ever to be conscientious about our finances, as we may be seeing some economic turmoil in the future. And that being said, have a nice day, guys. Bye. I'm so empty. That's why I was able to let you in, because there was no me to not let you in. Never a matter of if, but a matter of when. That's why it's so hard to keep smiling, but I think I might just stop crying, cause I miss you so much. It's a new Monday, so it's really kinda tough. It's a new Monday, so it's really kinda tough.